Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Leaf News. I'm Cameron Andrews. Sorry if I sound a little sick and stuff, just because I've been sick the last couple days. So yeah. But here today, I'm here to interview Democratic um, presidential nominee and Secretary of State Ethan Fitzgerald. Hello, Ethan. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good and sorry to hear you're under the weather a bit. I am as well, but I'm just getting over that. But yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first we'll start off with, of course, just little. I think just under an hour ago, Karan Stansberry announced he was dropping out of the presidential race and endorsing you. How this news affect your race?
Well, I mean, I was glad to hear the news. Of course, I support anyone who's willing to put their hat in the ring and run for president of the United States. But I appreciate Corin realizing what was best for this nation and putting politics aside, ideology aside, and in his mind and many other people's minds, doing what's best for the people of the United States. And I want to thank him for that. And I think that's gonna positively affect us. Maybe some of his supporters may go to Ryan. But I'm gonna work as hard as I can to get all of them, and Corin's expressed willingness to help in that, which I'm really glad about. So yeah, Corin ran a good campaign, and but I'm glad he's part of ours now, and I believe it's gonna help us win this, and yeah, so yeah.
Okay, of course you still have one opponent in the race.
hmm
Ryan Service. What is your opinion on Ryan?
I think Ryan is a nice guy. I've as I am Secretary of State and we work in the same administration. We've had to work together, and when I've worked with Ryan, he's been very polite. But looking at it in the context of this race, um, do you want me to elaborate into that?
Yeah,
Simply put,
go ahead.
I
Do whatever
I
you want. It's
think
fine.
okay, cool. Simply put, I think Ryan has some good ideas for this nation, but our campaign has many new ideas to bring this nation forward that Ryan's campaign is not expressed in. There are many current things that are benefiting this nation in many ways that Ryan's campaign has not expressed support in. So it's very unclear and shaky in that area as well. As we saw from the debate, in which I'm glad to see many people thought we won that debate. I did a lot of preparing for that, and I'm glad it paid off. But many people during that race, I realized Ryan. This is something I'd been noticing through the race, but once it was officially pointed out, and when I was there debating him, I saw many of his ideas were ones that I have already accomplished for this nation, and ones that I've been discussing my whole entire career. So it seems like a bunch of Ryan's ideas tie into our campaign, and a lot of the things he supports, I support as well. It's just I support more things that will bring our nation forward, and I think I have the most experience and I'm the most experienced and knowledgeable candidate, and for those reasons, and as well, many people have discussed that I have the most elaborated plan for this nation, and I'm proud to have that. I'm proud to have the most experience, most knowledge on the issues, best prepared plan, and best prepared ideas to bring this nation forward, and that's why I believe that I would be the best president for the people of the United States. Some simple reasons.
Okay. By the way, for all those watching, please feel free to ask your questions in the YouTube chat for Ethan. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah, I'd love
So,
to hear any question you guys have.
of course, the big event right now is Wyoming and the abortion ban. Can you tell us your stance
Correct.
on that?
Well, first of all, let me state what I don't support. I don't support an all-out ban on abortion. Now, I'm more of an in-the-middle guy on this issue. I support, as I've expressed, as I made an immediate statement and have discussed with multiple people. I stand for, as I've expressed throughout my entire political career and throughout my entire campaign, that I stand for a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And this is an issue that, uh, for many parts, tears our nation apart and tears many people apart. And I don't think we should allow it to do that. Now, what I stand for is letting the people of the United States decide, with minimum rules at least. People who have been raped, even though it's sad to think of, I believe should be able to obtain an abortion. Obviously, I think that everyone should have a chance to live, but in certain circumstances, is as sad as it is, um, there are certain things that people I think should have the right to choose on. As well when mothers' lives are at risk. So those are things that I think should be fundamental to be put on the ballot, and then maybe the people can decide what they support in each state, and then that can be put on the ballot. And so that's the whole fundamental: a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This is an issue that many people are always going to disagree on, and there's simply no getting past that. What we need to do is look for the best way that we can work to satisfy as many people as possible. And that's my stance.
Okay, try to make this last question about Wyoming because I bet you've been asked about Wyoming so much since it's happened. But
Yeah.
what did you think about the recent referendum that Evan Hunt has put out on the mech community?
The recent referendum, was it posted today?
Yes, and it's pinned.
Or, sorry, what you cut out there for a second?
Yes, it was posted today and it's pinned.
Oh, I actually have not seen it yet, but I'll go check it out right after. If you want to quickly explain it to me, I was at school for most of the day, and I was just writing a speech and finishing up some homework, so I haven't had the opportunity to check it out quite yet.
So
But
basically, I'll screen share it. One second.
okay, awesome. And I as well want to
So
thank.
this is
Sorry.
basically it says, are you for upholding the decision to ban all abortions in the state of Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota? Are you for this referendum?
As I've expressed, I think I do not support banning all abortions. When a mother's life is at risk, she should definitely be able to obtain abortion. As
But
sad as it is, these are things that we need to look at. If someone has been raped, I think this is many things that no matter if you're pro-life or pro-choice, that people have expressed that in these situations, people should be
but do you
allowed to
think this
obtain.
but do you think this referendum is good or bad?
Well, since I don't support it, I think it's bad banning all abortions.
Referendum posted to vote on it.
Oh, um, I I think I'm fine with it being posted. I think people, as I've expressed, should be able to allowed to make up their minds and vote on the decision. I hope that it doesn't pass though, as I do not support banning all abortions, and I support laying down some fundamentals at least. So I think people getting out and sharing their perspective is always good though. So I'm fine with it being
Do you, I
well,
don't know if you
I'm
noticed.
fine with people sharing their voices.
Do you think it's biased because it says on the first one, are you for upholding the decision to ban all abortions in the state of Wyoming? It says yes, I'm for protecting fetuses and not for them to be sucked out of a vacuum into bits. Or it says no, I want innocent babies to be killed for no reason. Do you think that's being biased to try to make people vote yes?
To be honest, it should just say, as it does normally on ballots and measures like this, just yes or no. It shouldn't include a whole thing in parentheses, and that's not including all the context of, as I brought up, mothers whose lives are at risk, for example.
Okay, so we have a question from Icy Burgletree who asks, ask Ethan about bump stocks.
Bump stocks. All right. So this ties. I'll talk just directly about bump stocks. There are many other things pertaining to gun control that I could discuss, and I've worked a lot on this in my mech career. And during my mech career, I have put up a bill that banned bump stocks because there is no reason why someone should need to use bump stocks. There is no reason. I do not support them, and I support banning bump stocks as I have, and I've already ensured that that has happened here in mech. So yeah. That's what
Can
I
you
support.
explain to us? I don't know what bump stocks are.
Well, what bump stocks simply do, they are ways in which a gun can shoot even quicker. Um, pe- so I really don't know why someone would need bump stocks. If someone wants to go hunting, they do not need to be shooting that quickly, and there are already other guns that shoot quite quickly, so I don't see any reason why bump stocks should be added to making it even quicker. And it's seen a lot that bump stocks are part of the issues in mass shootings because they make a gun shoot even quicker. And this is something that has been supported across the aisle. This is something when I worked on my bill two ban bump stocks, which it did a lot more, but I'm just talking directly about the question that I discussed with I'm pretty sure at the time it was every single member of Congress I reached out to see their perspective on, and I think it was all conclusive.
Okay, thanks, Icy, for your question. My next question to you is, what is your stance on the the ongoing debate about gun laws and gun rights?
All right, well, gun laws and gun rights in the United States. Let me say what I simply state. I support common sense gun reforms that will actually solve the issue. As I put into action, I've supported closing loopholes, ensuring criminals can't get their hands on gun, further background checks. These are the things that are actually going to prevent these things from happening. And I've always well supported defending our students in the schools, as I touched on in the debate, and I got very upset over that school shootings are terrible and students should not have to worry about that in education. Everyone has something going on in their life, and I couldn't even imagine going through something like that. And our students, and what I've supported, I wish this could happen in real life, but as we're talking about in the context of Mac, I've supported putting security guards at schools to prevent things like this from happening. And all the things I've supported were things that will nip school shootings and mass shootings all across this nation in the bud.
Are you for or against banning guns outright?
Outright, in the United States, we have a constitution and we have a Second Amendment. I do not support banning all guns
But
outright. And many people may bring
do
up
you
many people.
support banning some guns?
Well, many people may bring up Australia. I think it's Australia that has a whole where they've taken all their guns. Well, at the same time, that has cut down, and I think they haven't had any mass shootings in a while. But as well, in the United States, we have a Second Amendment, and that is something that is part of our Constitution, and that is something I support people if they want to protect themselves to have guns. I support people if they want to go out hunting to have a fun time. What we need to do is be careful with this, along with people being able to protect themselves and have fun. We as well need to ensure that people aren't hurting others with the gun, and that's something that I've always worked to maintain in the United States, and that's something I've always supported.
So are you for banning some guns or no? Just yes or no?
Well, uh, there are certain guns that I think some people don't need, but a lot. I mean, I have kind of I'm on this issue. Like many people say that. Hmm, I mean, this is something that I've thought over quite a lot, and I mean, there are certain guns that people should not simply have their hands on. There are guns, military. There are some military style weapons that people should not have their hands on. But at the same time, banning some kinds of these guns is not gonna prevent the issue. Preventing an issue starts with the source of the issue, and that is the human. The human is the one who pulls the trigger in a gun, and that's what we need to work on ensuring there's not people who are actually going to be a risk to others, ensuring that they do not get their hands on guns. Cameron?
Yes, sorry, I was just typing something fast. Okay, so I personally live in Canada, and there's recent news reports saying I think it's around 95% of guns used in shootings in Canada come from the U.S. What would you try to do to protect guns from the U.S. crossing international borders?
Well, I think this is something that should be worked on with both um, the United States and Canada, as Canada does have much stricter gun laws. I mean, that is why so many are coming in from the United States, since we have, well, in the real life context, there's much stricter gun laws in Canada. But as supported ensuring that the wrong people don't get their hands on the guns. Now, I mean, this is going to be a hard issue to prevent, since people who are doing everything they can to get their hands on a gun, sadly, the fact of the matter is, in the United States, they will. These people have access to guns in many ways. But what we can do is stop now, ensuring that these do not go to the bad people. Now, there are many bad people in the United States who already have guns, and we're not going to be able to go kick down every house door in the United States looking for every single bad person saying, give me your guns. We're just, I wish we were able to do that, but looking at reality and looking at what is achievable, that is not. But what we can do for future generations, as it is always important for our current generation to worry about and work towards a better life for future generations. And this is not going to be as much of an issue due to ensuring that bad people who are going to harm others and who are going to participate in illegal activities or activities of just selling it to people who are going to hurt others won't be happening in the future due to laws I have supported. And hi, Corin.
Okay, we now, as Ethan said, Karan Stansberry has just joined. Hello, Karan.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you have any
Fitzgerald.
Do you have any questions for Ethan?
Uh, no, not really. But I
Feel
wanted to ask
free.
my question PMs.
Feel free
Oh,
anytime if you have any questions, Karan, to ask him.
I was going to answer your question in PMs once we're done with this.
Okay.
Yeah, Karan, if you have any questions, and ask them to Ethan.
So what are we
So,
talking?
right now we're on the topic of guns.
Oh, gun control. Interesting topic.
Do you have any questions for him on gun control?
Hmm. You can continue. Let me think about that. I wanna hit him with a hard one. Wink, wink.
Well, I'm willing to answer on any topics. Of course, I'm not going to have the exact perfect answer, but I can give you my plan
Okay, we'll
as
go into another
we.
form of control and stuff. Let's talk about the southern border.
Mm-hmm.
What is your stance currently on the southern border?
Well, pertaining to just that issue, as we've discussed, I do not think a wall is the best way about defending our southern border. I believe there are cheaper ways of solving the issue, and as I have supported throughout my career and throughout all my political service, in fact, I support more defense on the southern border, setting up things there that'll ensure people who do not want to harm, that are looking to harm the United States and will not contribute to our society, who will hurt us, will not come in. And what I support is legal immigration. This is just pertaining to this issue. I could band out far into immigration, but I'll answer your question specifically. I think everyone should be coming here legally. Now, I understand that some people are at risk in Mexico, and I think there are things that should be done about that. And that's why some people illegally immigrate here, is because they feel like they're at risk and they need to come to the United States right away. And what this ties into an issue that I think is a big one relating more to the southern border is that, and this is across all immigration issues. One of the origins first is non-proper allocation of funding to certain departments. That's something that needs to be worked on. That's something I have worked on, and that's something I've worked to achieve. Now, but another that I was discussing ties into is our immigration system right now is incredibly slow. That needs to be worked towards. That can tie into proper funding, but as well, we shouldn't. Topic people bring up is we're asking immigrants questions on tests to come into the United States that citizens of the United States would not even know. We need to redefine our tests and look into better ways so we can quick ensure that our immigration system is quicker, while as well still ensuring that everyone coming in is here to contribute to the society and is not going to hurt our society. But there are many ways we can do that.
Ron, you have any questions for him on anything? Ron?
Oh, wait, nope.
Just ask them if you want. I don't care.
No, no.
Okay. I'm going to border control. I know this is a weird question, but what about the northern border?
Well, yes, this is a question I've been asked on, and as I've discussed with you, Cameron and PMs, that a nation, as I said to you, a nation there is no country without borders. Now, of course, there is more influx and more illegal immigration through the southern border, but at the same time, our northern border must still be patrolled and defended. But the fact of the matter is, more more of the issues pertaining to illegal immigration come from the southern border and not so much from Canada. But I still think that our border should be patrolled.
But what is your stance on a lot of people illegally enter Canada from the United States? Would you try to, and a lot of the border of Canada and the United States is unprotected and unguarded. Would you try to build something to prevent them from border hopping to Canada illegally in
Well,
or for asylum?
from citizens of the United States illegally immigrating into Canada.
Yes.
Is that okay? Well, first of all, this is something that we're gonna, of course, as Canada is a close ally of ours, discuss with them, as we should discuss the issues pertaining to immigration with Mexico and many other countries. Um, there is, of course, not a huge amount of illegal immigration into Canada from the United States, but yes, this is still an issue,
Actually, there
and
is. There is.
I wouldn't. Well, we're looking. We just discussed illegal immigration from Mexico, and I'm comparing it to a.
Can I
It's not a
say,
huge level compared to that.
can I say something?
But sure, go ahead, Corin.
Uh, See, immigration is a very interesting topic to speak about, and it's very complicated as well. As a country of democracy, as we want people to come in, but the right way. So it's very hard to have a solution to prevent people coming in illegally and make sure they're coming in the right way. So what I think Fitzgerald is correct on. Not having a wall because there's so much more can be, all that money can go towards education, so many other, wonderful things that can actually help out America now and in the future for many more years to
Mm-hmm.
come. And the best thing we could do right now is have more border control, make sure, people are actually watching the border, make sure people are coming in the right way. We want people to come in, but the right way.
Yeah. And let me just add to that. Like this is branching out into immigration though. What we need to fully recognize as a nation that we've kind of been shying away from a bit of lately, or not everyone, but literally we are a nation built on immigration. We need immigration to continue moving forward and to thrive as a society. Immigration brings brand new ideas to our nation, brings people willing to contribute. Now, I'm not saying everyone's good, and that's something that we need to work on towards. But just looking at it in the big picture of things, immigration is good. It helps a society. It diversifies a society, whether it's from race, religion, or anything else that makes someone who they are. It just brings new spirited ideas and new people into a country. And I think that's a good thing. Immigration is a good thing, and it's key to a nation's success. But the master of it is ensuring that people come in who are coming in are coming to better the nation they are coming to and coming to contribute to the society in which they are, and that's what we need to work towards. I've wrote comprehensive immigration bills over and over with multiple people, and I've supported them as long as it's best for the citizens of the United States. That's what I always support. What is best for the people of the United States. That's one of that's the main reason I'm running for president, is because I want to serve the citizens and the great people of this country to the best of my ability and up to a standard in which they deserve.
Okay, but a lot of people that hop the border. Okay, this is like basically a question. This is a question. But a lot of people that cross the border from Mexico are doing it because there's no foreseeable way to get into the U.S. legally. Would you try to make it easier for people to to immigrate into the U.S.?
Yeah, I touched on this issue quite a lot about the wait
Because
time.
usually it's not the rich that are hopping the border. It's usually the poor. So would you try to
Yeah,
make it easier?
yeah. Well, what I touched on is that a main issue is the wait time to get into the United States, and that's why many people do that. That's something we need to focus on, ensuring that it should not take so long for people to come to the United States. That's why a bunch of people hop the border. I'm glad that people are excited to come in. But we are a nation of laws. We are as well a nation built on immigration, and we need to accept both of those things, and those can correlate together. So yeah, that's my stance on it. But the wait times is a main factor, and as well ensuring that the people at the border have the proper funding and resources they need to move forward in defending our border to the best of their ability and getting people who are willing to help our society and better society into the nation.
Okay, I'm just gonna say let's get off that topic because that's just getting heated fast. So we have a question from Mr. Icy Burgletree who asks, "How would you fight global warming if you believe in it?"
All right. Thank you so much for asking that. Thank you very much. This is an issue that I think is one of the biggest facing our society today. Let me tell you first of all, global warming is real. There's no denying it. Global warming is occurring, and this is something that I don't think has been touched on much in MEC, and I think that's one of the main things I'm focusing on as running for president. I've expressed that in my announcement speech. I've expressed that in my DNC speech. I've expressed that in the debate. I believe we touched on that subject a bit. I'm not sure actually if we did in the debate, but anyways, this is a very important issue to me. First of all, one thing we need to work towards is renewable energy. This is something I've outlined as utmost importance. And as well, we need to work towards ensuring that our businesses in the United States are not polluting our air. And there are certain things we can do with that. And there are certain things we can set up in the United States to be more efficient and not causing global warming. And as well support agreements set up between multiple nations across the world, as long as they are fair agreements that work to combat this as people who know this is realistic and know this is an issue we need to fight. If we do nothing about this, this is an issue that could wipe out our everyone. And this is and when something is at risk to your life or could eventually be, it is of utmost importance that you end that risk. And these are some of the things I will do. This is something I will do as president of the United States. This is a topic I'm going to work on, and this is an issue that needs to be solved. There are common sense things we can do to solve this issue, and most people believe that global warming is real. So let's do something about it, as we haven't in Mac much. And I'm going to be a president who will act upon realizing it's real and act upon wanting to better the issue. That's a
Okay,
promise.
okay.
Wait,
If you're wait, sorry, can I say something fast? If you're president, how much would you urge Congress to write bills and pass bills that pertain to global warming and climate change?
Well, listen, what I'm gonna do as president, I'm always gonna reach out to Congress to work on comprehensive bills with me. I like working with Congress. I don't really care if it's a Democratic or a Republican Congress. I'll work with anyone because I know that, especially in MEC, this is one thing I love about MEC. Everyone is bipartisan. Everyone always loves to include it in their campaigning. But that's the fact of the matter, and it's not just bipartisan. It's working with all parties, which I love. I love incorporating every single opinion I can hear to work on issues. I would reach out to Congress to work on this right away. I think we should just get a comprehensive bill out. If we need to do this in multiple bills, I'll be fully willing to. But what we need to do is solve this issue as soon as possible. And I'm pretty sure Congress is going to be fully willing to help me on this matter.
Okay, Karen, go ahead on your question.
like how Fitzgerald was saying, like global warming is real, guys. Like they're lying to you when they're saying, oh, yeah, global warming doesn't exist, stuff like that. They just don't want you to freak out because they know inside that it's real and they're not doing anything about it. Like
I agree with that fully. I hate
like
when scientists
Fitzgerald,
say I hate when
that is
scientists say, "Oh, it's not real. It's a period of the Earth."
yeah, like Fitzgerald. I 100% agree on you. That's a
I agree with that too.
that we need to fix right away because even as a Republican and Democrat, doesn't matter what party we want. We're all human beings. Anything can affect us. We all come together as one nation, one as one world. Because one small thing might happen over there, but it's affecting us on this side as well.
And it's also what we're doing here affects other parts of the world. So
It doesn't affect other parts. It affects the whole entire world.
you
Everything
know
of
what to say.
it.
Okay. I'll ask one more question about climate change. What is your would you stick to the Paris Agreement? And what is your opinion on the Paris Agreement?
All right, what I touched on is I support fair deals. The way the United States, for the most part, is contributing to the Paris Climate Accord. What I don't think we should do is throw it out. I think we should just ensure that the deal is made fair. I, of course, support the idea of it as it is multiple nations working to combat climate change, which, as we've all said, it's real, and we need to face this as not just the United States, because we can't solve this issue alone. We need to work with as many nations as we can to solve this issue, and I support, but I want everyone to contribute fairly to this issue. I'm fine with the United States being a leader and recognizing that global warming is real, but everyone needs to put in the work to bettering our world, as this is an issue that impacts not just the United States but everyone.
Okay, so let's move on to the topic of terrorism. What would you, if as president, what would you do to stop terrorism from spreading across not just the Middle East but across the world?
Well, this is an issue that I've worked on as Secretary of State. I can't really go into it that much, as it is a matter of national security. But what I can assure you is that this topic is being worked on. We're as well. What we're gonna work on is ensuring that terrorist groups that are focused in certain areas are not able to branch out. We're gonna try to destroy these terrorist groups and ensure that it doesn't end up like some sort of Al Qaeda where it branches out to a bunch of other nations. We need to monitor and ensure that that terrorism isn't able to expand again. We need to, as I've used the term a lot, nip it in the bud. These issues, terrorism is something that we need to focus. We need to focus in on a group of people, and then we need to destroy that terrorist group and to ensure that they can't branch out and start a new one. And terrorism is something we need to fight worldwide, the United States, and get everyone on board to solving this issue, as this impacts everyone again.
Can I butt in a little bit?
No, I love that analogy, by
So,
the way, Ethan. Yeah, go ahead,
so
Kron.
how he Fitzgerald said like how he wants the whole like the world to butt in with everything. Like when I was president, I was actually going to propose something to Congress called the World National Defense Fleet. So basically, that means it's kind of it's kind of like merging. Like
Okay, Kron,
it's basically
Kron,
like
can you just ask him questions and not just like, sorry, it's his interview. That's why I'm trying to.
no. This is a question now. It's gonna go in a question.
Oh, okay, that's why. Sorry, I thought you were just trying to get people to
No,
support you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me now talk about my old campaign. Let me ask the question. All right. So, like, off the terrorist thing, Fitzgerald, do you agree with like a sixth branch called the Space Force? Do you think
You
we
mean the
should?
cyber
Yeah,
force?
same thing. You know, bada boom, bada boom. You know.
Yeah, of course. This is actually Ryan likes to campaign on this, but this is actually an idea that I mean, I don't know when Ryan came up with this, but do you guys remember the Atlanta airport hacking?
I don't recall of it, but do tell.
All right. Well, that was
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. Well, that was an event. That was an event in Mac in which I helped on, which I helped on, and I asked. One of the main things I did was, well, not main things. Well, actually, it was. But I asked the American people what their ideas were. I was hearing from them. I wanted to hear how they believe we could handle the situation best, because it's always, as I've touched on multiple times, I'm just gonna repeat this, that it's important to hear as many perspectives as you can. That's what I did in that situation, and I was suggested the idea of a cyber force by many people, and I agreed with that right away. And I think that is something that needs to be achieved. And of course, yeah, I support a cyber force, because a lot of uh, terrorism these days is cyber terrorism, and that's an issue that we combat terrorism, whether it's a person or if they're working to attack us as a society. So of course, yeah, I support the cyber force.
Okay, so let's move on to defense. Would you raise or lower the defense budget?
Well, right now in Mech, this the cyber force would be a sixth branch of the military. So I think for that reason, at least need to be raised a bit. But I think in MEC the latest budget has it down to 445 billion, which I think in the current situation we are with so many conflicts abroad that it does need to be a bit higher than that. Obviously, I hope one day that we're not going to be forced to have it as high as we can. But the sad state of the matter is that we need a strong military in the United States. I wish that we didn't even need to have a threat of a strong military, but that's the way our world is, and we need to be prepared for matters such as military conflicts. And so yeah, that's my stance on it. I think it needs to be raised from 445,
Okay, Karan,
especially
anything
to
to add?
incorporate the cyber force.
Karan, anything to add to that?
No.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I want to stay, but we're kind of running a bit late. I have some. I it was kind of. I thought I want to and I want to I want to talk about some more stuff before the review ends. So, would you of course your running mate, former president Jonas Uberfeld, um
Hmm.
got rid of the income tax. Would you
Yes.
stick like most presidents and not most presidents after him and not touch it, or would you bring back the income tax?
I don't think we should bring back the income tax. I fully agree with what John did in that matter. It's called Georgism. This is a bill that I sponsored. This is a bill that I've supported. It is what allows us to have the economic situation we do today. It's why we have a surplus and one of the reasons we have a surplus in most of the budget. And it solves so many issues in the United States, such as one is economic inequality. And that's something that we need to work towards. And it really helps the people of the United States, and it's a fairer form of tax. So I fully support the LVT, which is a land value tax that Georgism sets up, and it allows for a great economic standard for the United States. And I even, as president, I've pledged to go even further on this issue and support something known as fuller Georgism that my running mate John S. Uberfeld and I have discussed. This would ensure that there's further discussion and representation with the local level and the federal level, discussing more assessments of the values of property to ensure that the taxing is more fair, as well after the debt in met if there is after the debt is repaid, that the money would return to the people in need in the United States, as well properly funding each and every single one of our departments in the United States. And that's what part of what Fuller Georgism would do, which would extremely help the people in need in the United States and extremely help towards the betterment of our country even further.
Okay, talk. Let's talk about the corporate tax. Would you increase it or lower it?
We don't have a corporate tax.
Sorry, I meant would you implement it?
No. I mean, we already have a huge surplus with what we have already. Um, I don't see any reason to re-implement the corporate tax. It would hurt our businesses. It would cause people not to want to stay in the United States. And right now, in mech reality, their businesses are able to grow strongly here at home and they're not going to be leaving. They're actually going to be coming back to the United States because we do not have a corporate tax and because they would have a great standard of living here. So we already have a huge surplus, so I don't see any reason why we would need to re-implement the corporate tax.
Okay, so
Yes.
would you get rid of non-renewable resource energy, even though it would get like oil, like getting oil and everything, even though it would, even though it would, sorry, um, take jobs away from citizens of the U.S.
What I believe is while we're transitioning over, we should keep this. But one key factor of the many that I supported throughout my campaign is ensuring that the United States can be energy independent. We are, of course, a nation that needs to work with others, but we should not have to be dependent on other nations. And I think it's about time that the United States becomes energy independent. We need to work towards doing that, and that's something of utmost importance. And I support working towards renewable energy, which is the best form of energy in the United States, and as well. But while we're working towards that, these people will stay employed. as well, there are many people who will still be able to stay employed. But in the case that they do lose their jobs, what I've supported, what I've worked on throughout my career is setting up systems in which we'll be able to retrain them, which won't cost them their whole all their money, and which won't cost them their life standard. They may even be able to work towards a better job. So it ensures that they're able to stay economically sound. For these people that if they were to unfortunately lose their job, that they would be able to reincorporate themselves back into the society quite all right.
Okay, so this is kind of more of a joke question, but what? Let me just get this thing up here. Okay, I just want to see. I just want to see how your humor is and everything like this. It's more of a joke question, but I hope
Okay.
it makes
I
people
look forward
laugh.
to it.
What do you mean for this map called Jesus? It's called the Jesus Land map, basically separating the democratic states that are more aligned with Canadian values and everything, more left like Canada, and the
I,
southern states and more red states that are more Jesus orientated, as people say.
I've actually seen things like this on YouTube. Like it was talking about, I don't know if you've seen this video, but it was discussing like if the red states and the blue states were broken up in the United States, like
Yeah, I've
how
seen it.
they're yeah,
Sort of
yeah
like this.
yeah, I've seen.
I
I don't
didn't go
remember. I think it was
reason, but I don't know.
uh-huh. Yeah. That's
So
that's a pretty interesting map there.
it'd be called the United States of Canada, and then the red part would be called Jesus Land. So
Pretty creative, yeah. It kind of reminds me of do you remember Ethan's Canada US election? I think it was between like Trump and Trudeau.
really, I don't remember that one. I have to find it after.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see how we're doing for time right now. Okay, I'm gonna ask one more question before we have to wrap
Okay.
this up. So, it's basically like, why do you think people should elect you over Ryan?
All right. Well, I touched on this a bit earlier, but first of all, I'll say Ryan's a nice guy, but my campaign and not our campaign for the people that presents an idea of a new dawn and a new era for this nation simply has new, more, better ideas that will bring our nation forward. It supports things that have already put our nation in a positive place that it is today, and Ryan's campaign has not expressed support for those. These he hasn't publicly supported Georgism, which has put us in the economic situation that we are today. That's one thing. Like many people support him because it is that's a very important issue, and over again, the economy is rated as the most important issue to people. And I am the candidate in this situation who supports the best economic standards for the United States. But I as well am the candidate who is the most experienced, most knowledgeable on the issues, along with having the most preparation of plans. Everyone was saying during the debate that I was someone elaborating further on the ideas even than him, because I like to branch out. I like to give people let people know who they are electing, what my plan will be, and how I'm going to get it done. Those many things put together, having the best future for this nation, the most experience, the most knowledge, the best plan. Those things are all needed for a positive commander in chief. And those are all things that tie into why I would be the best president for every single American in Mac. And let me just state this again: no matter whether you vote for me or not, no matter who you are, your background, anything that makes you who you are, I will be a president for you. Because I support a United States where we're united. I support a United States where we stand up for everyone. And I support a United States where we do not leave anyone behind, where we all move together forward. And I support many of the slogans or our government for the people, for each and every single one of the American citizens. The reason why I am doing this is to better the lives of the American citizens. I support a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Those are core promises that we must continue to defend in the United States. And I support revamping this nation to a new dawn and a new era, ensuring that we are here to be the leader of the free world, to ensure that we have the best future for ourselves and future generations. Everyone in the United States should be able to be proud to call this their country. And I want to help this country and in turn the people of it reach their highest potential. And I promise to each and every single one of you, as President of the United States, I will do everything in my power to achieve these goals I have promised. Cameron.
Sorry, I thought I was muted. I started doing my outro rant, and then I realized I was still muted. But thank you, Karan, for joining me as well, and thank you, Ethan, for accepting my invitation, and thank you for coming.
No problem. I'm always glad to express with the American people and get out there and talk to them as much as I can and express my ideas with them. And yeah, that's what I've done. I've gone door to door, campaign rallies, and I'm glad to have this interview and the debate and everything. I'm doing everything I can to reach out to the American people. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity. And I was glad to answer the people in the comments questions and your questions, Cameron. It's good to ask questions and it's good to get answers. So thank
Okay,
you.
so thank you, and thanks everyone for watching. I've been Cameron Andrews, and thank you for watching the Daily Leaf News, the best and new, the best and newest new show in Mac. Thank you, and good night.